Okay. Looks like we're good now. We had a little bit of a hiccup there for a second, but I think we got it all figured out. So hopefully, hopefully, this is working out the way we want. All right. Welcome, everybody. We are going to try, if we get a chance here, to build some decks. Um, this is one of those things where, being honest, it's like one of the tougher things to do because a lot of the suggestions likely aren't going to be good decks. And that's kind of the tough thing, I will say, as a creator, when people say they want to see new decks, they want to see this, want to see that. Like a lot of times, it's wanting to see things that just can't exist. I mean, they can, they're just not going to be good, right? And I think there's a belief that every single one of these things can be good. I just got to find a way to do it. It's like, no, that's not true. Some of them are just bad. However, the goal is, can we make them good enough to be respectable? That's the thing. But I'll tell you, there's some of these things on this wheel that I'm hoping don't come up. like, but we'll see. I'm not gonna tell you which ones. We'll just get them when we get them. Now, the other thing here is people are probably wondering, how can I participate? How can I get my idea on the wheel? Well, this is for all of our YouTube channel members. If you were to been a member, I sent out a post. I let everybody submit a thing. I just add them to the wheel. And periodically throughout the season, I'm going to do videos where I spin the wheel and I take one of those ideas and we turn it into a thing. Now, some of them, coincidentally, have come off the wheel because I've done some version of a similar deck already. So we took, I think over the course of the season, we ended up taking like 2 or 3 off the wheel just because those ideas were already mostly done. Not exactly the same, but enough that it wouldn't make for a good second video or whatever. It's kind of the same idea. But so far, everything else here looks pretty unique and new. So we'll see what happens. Looks like a few of y'all are getting in here, so we'll give everybody just a minute or two more. And then we're going to spin the wheel and we're going to see what happens. Also, hey, for those of you that don't follow my other stuff, we had a hell of a time last week because I got to go to WotC HQ to see their new offices. I was there with the Commander Format panel, and we talked about all types of things. It was a very interesting week, well, 3 days, and one of the best workshops I'd been part of, honestly. Got all the international members there. It was really cool. It was really cool. And they took good care of us. You know, we went back and forth on a lot of things. So for as much as people think like we're a bunch of yes men for WotC or whatever, no, we actually pushed back and argued against some things they wanted to do. And they listened, which is cool. So there was a lot of back and forth. It was very, very interesting. But yeah, I don't know if there's how much. If you have questions about stuff, feel free to ask. I'll see if I can answer them. Some of them I won't be able to answer because it's under NDA and all that stuff. But stuff I can answer, I will, as usual. Welcome, peoples. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna spin this wheel. So again, if you're new here, we have filled out this wheel with YouTube channel members giving us their suggestions. Throughout the season, I periodically just roll the wheel, we build some stuff, and then we'll, at the end of the season, we'll do it again, I guess, when Spider-Man comes out. However, this time, we're going to spin the wheel with what's left here. I think we have 8 options still on the wheel. So let's see what we get, and hopefully it's something fun to build. Because I have no idea what's going to happen here. See, this... Okay, this is tough because we just did a Kothis Reanimator deck. I mean, we just did a Kothis deck, or Kotis deck, not a Reanimator deck. I guess we can go with it. I mean, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it because it came up on the wheel. But this is sometimes what happens with the wheel suggestions. Is we're just gonna end up making a Reanimator deck that happens to play Kothis. I'm pretty sure how this is how it's gonna end up. And I don't know if Kothis is particularly better to be playing in the Arden Reanimator deck. I don't know. We'll see. But that's what this experiment's about, right? This is how we learn things. Do I do the Flicker Warp Manifest? Kinda the same thing. It wasn't totally the same. I'm just gonna call it Spider-Man. You call it whatever you want. I don't really care one way or the other. Um. Okay, so we're gonna build it for standard. Oh boy. All right. What do we want to? Why can I not click this to rename the deck? What's going on? Do I have to do it here? Okay, weird. I'm just gonna call it Arden Reanimator because it's probably where we're gonna be. I mean, yeah, this is an unfortunate one to land on. I'm gonna be honest because I don't know if I'm doing anything original here. I think that's my confusion, and this is the tough part, right? When we talk about building decks, it's like people want to add uniqueness, but like I feel like in this case, I will be adding uniqueness just for the sake of doing so, and I don't know if that's helping this effort, if that makes sense, because we kind of already know what reanimator decks look like, right? You start with some amount of overlords, right? So we can fill the graveyard. Let's put this in black, blue. I guess technically it'll be green because there's Kothis or in the deck. Or yeah, we do some number of these. I'll temporarily put 2 overlords there. I mean, this is just a Una deck, right? That can also play Kothis. I guess Una can only get enchantments though, right? Okay, so maybe not. I mean, I guess playing one of them still isn't bad though for playing these knuckleheads. Arden, obviously, because that's the reason we want to build this for the viewer. By the way, that was Dr. Remulus, or Remulux, or whatever was the person. It came up on screen, but, you know, proper credit and all that. I guess we just need 3 of these. Man, I'm going to have to waste wild cards on this, too. Y'all are lucky I love y'all. Yeah, what do y'all want to put in here? I'll let chat help out with this. I mean, I'll let y'all have some input on what do you want to say. What do we want to reanimate? I mean, I guess obviously we have to put Kothis in here, right? Because that was the... Is it Kothis or... I'm pretty sure it's Kotis. I don't know why I had Kothis in there. I'm pretty sure it's Kotis because I just played that card the other day. Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll play at least 3 just to make it worthwhile, see how often we hit it. And then I don't even know what else we're reanimating. I mean, I guess are we doing the typical reanimator things, like getting back Bahamut? Gotta click colorless. There we go. So we'll play like 2 of those. Overlord, the white Overlord. I mean, I don't know. Now we're getting too deep, I think, because then we're just playing too many. Well, I mean, I guess technically we're already playing multiple colors, but we're kind of just splashing for Kotis. This is really a Abzan deck that's able to play Kotis, I think. The idea is what they want to do, I believe, is this the premise, is they want to use Arden to reanimate Kotis, so Kotis becomes a 5/5 demon. And then we connect with Kotis, so then we could just take 5 things from the opponent and try to cast their stuff. That's the Magic Christmas land for this deck. But I think that's kind of it. I mean, otherwise, this is just a reanimator deck. I mean, obviously, we got to play reanimatory things, so we need some Zombify. Whatever, return, creature, graveyard, battlefield. What other? I guess Valgaval's Faithful is a real answer. Coiling Rebirth is cool, but we're targeting Legends, so that doesn't really help. There's also the removal that's also instant. There's Live or Die. This one's not bad as a combat trick. No, not even 5 lands. Did y'all see the video today where I hit with Kotis? It was either 5 or 6 lands and a spell counter. Like, that's the worst Kotis could have hit ever. It was sick. It made me quite sad, let me tell you. All right, let me go ahead and put, just for sport, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 Valgaval's Faithful. And then the rest of this probably has to be a way to get things in the graveyard, right? Enchantments, mill. Oops, that's not going to work. In green, what was that thing? This, Dredger's Insight probably works here. I guess we go and play like the typical. I mean, yeah, again, this is just like a Una Reanimator deck. We're just playing Kodos in here. I mean, I don't think this is particularly crazy in any way. I think we max those. Um, Play the Saga Search guy, Fenrir. That's the name of it. Play some number of these. I can clean this up in a second. I'm kind of just tossing cards in here for the moment. I'll reduce some numbers and figure out exactly what we want. This is a weird deck that could use Llanowar Elf. I don't know that it needs any Llanowar Elf. I'd probably rather have Paleontologist just so we're playing so many colors. Probably add another Una, so that's a real thing. Alright. So now we're just a few cards over. I can reduce back from here and be okay. I mean, it's just a Reanimator deck. It'll work fine, but it's literally just going to be a Reanimator deck, I think. I don't think it does anything. Again, it's not doing anything unique, special, crazy. It's literally just doing Reanimatory things, right? We're playing Unas and Liver Dies and Zombify and Dogwouth's Faithful, and then just hoping to mill stuff into the graveyard that we can just get a big turn. That's kind of all this deck is. Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. It's literally just a Una deck. It's a Reanimator deck splashing blue. But this is what happens. Y'all submit the things, I just put them on the wheel. You know, like this is sort of the way it goes. I need to cut at least one more of something though. Oh boy, what am I gonna cut? I guess it could be a Valgavoth's Faithful, really. And we still have 7 Reanimator things plus Una, which is likely fine here, I think. All right. So technically, 9 things to reanimate with. We probably, I mean, let me just fill out the lands, huh? Type land, lose 2 life, because there are several in this color combination, I think. Oh, wait, not type, there we go, type land, not type lose 2 life, there we go. Nope, not that one, that's not what we're looking for. Is that not how the psych lands are worded? I thought they were hold on a second. What if I just do this? Nope, alright, well, I have no idea how they're worded. Oh, it's pay to, oh my god, I hate we have so many things that are just pay. You know what I hate more? That we have some stuff that has the number listed as 1, 2, or 3, but then we have other cards where it's spelled out 1, 2, or 3. And there have been times in Arena where I will put in the opposite of what it is and it won't come up, but I'm like, we should make these the same. That's one thing I need to talk to Arena folks about. Like, they should just be the same thing. I don't know why they're not the same thing. We don't need a ton of blue, but between those, a Fenrir to search for an island, and Paleontologist, that should be plenty. I don't think we have to go way out of our way there. Black mana, we do need. We don't really need it. Yeah, I don't know. We're just doing stuff right now. I guess starting towns, just to make sure we hit our colors. Take out some of these basics, because we don't need so many of them. Do we have enough green? We don't. I probably need... I need something else in here. Man, the lands are so close to being right, but just a touch too far away. I guess I could go with Restless Cottage. It's probably fine. It's tapped, but we don't have a ton of stuff we play early anyway, so a few of those is reasonable. I don't think that's a problem. And how many green sources does it give us? 3, 6, 10, 14? That should work. Because realistically, we only need 1 if we can get these kicked off, and then eventually 1 for Overlord. I guess 1 island also works in here too. How many black sources do we have though? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We actually have more black than white, but that's because we have the shock lands that exist. Let's make one of those an island. Just so we can go get it with Fenrir in case it comes up. Do you think an outlaw deck that uses the OTJ Outlaws rather than Bloomborough Lizards could work? I mean, you can. There's just no point. I mean, that's, and I don't mean this in a like rude way, but you're just going to be doing something to play a lesser version of a thing that already works. Like, the lizards happen to be outlaws and also happen to have good synergistic abilities that can just steamroll your opponent. They just snowball the more of them you have. If you play just a ragtag group of the outlaws, you're playing a bunch of lesser cards that don't necessarily have the cohesion together. So you're better off just playing the lizards. They use the word 2 for the number of entities and the numbers for stats, damage, life, etc. So TWO21 white insects or go up. Well, no, I get that because as you're writing something, it makes sense to not put two numbers together, right? Putting the number 2 next to 2-1, whatever, to make your tokens reads very weird. So in that case, I get it. It's just let's just spell it out all the time is what I'm saying. It would just be better to have them all spelled out so they can all be searched the same way. It's easy to just go one way or the other. Felzu says, I hit Mythic for the first time tonight. Gotta hate this deck. You know, it's a Reanimator deck. If you don't like Reanimator, you're not going to like this pile. That's kind of it in a nutshell. Yeah, I mean, this is probably the best we're going to do on short notice. But we kind of already know what this deck is. So we're not, no one's going to be surprised by this, you know? Okay. Let me go ahead and craft what's left. And I guess we go play some games with this. I don't know what else we're going to do. I'm just going to take this into play queue to test it for a bit, just to see if it even does what it's supposed to do. I assume that it does. But I don't know. We'll find out. We could play some number of Verges. I'm just... I don't want to sound mean, but I'm kind of just over it. So we're just going in as it is. Verges are probably reasonable, though, over some... Like, some of these Watery Graves could probably be the black-green Verge or something. That would be a totally reasonable thing. I'm just going to keep this. I mean, we have more than enough mana to do everything. We just got to get to mill some stuff in the yard, because we have all of our stuff here. I would say, though, the problem here with these types of decks, though, is once you put a bunch of stuff in the graveyard, you kind of telegraph to the opponent what's going on. So they're keeping their eye out for a Reanimator spell or Yuna or whatever. And I've been on the opposite side of this, where you already know. Like, you can just go, oh, I see what you're doing. I got to leave some extra mana up if I want to be able to kill Yuna on your instep or whatever. Yeah, this works for us. Let's mill some things. Yeah, I will take this, actually. I don't mind taking this out of the yard, because we're never going to really reanimate that. So, if down the road we have spare mana, just getting another thing down that makes colors is not bad. And our opponent's doing a much better job of things than us right now. There's a Dredger's Insights, which we don't really need right now. So I'm just going to do this. And go get, I guess, another forest? Sure. Oh, wow, we milled the other forest. I didn't realize that. Oh. Yay, here comes Kona. Wish I had a Bahamut in the graveyard. That would have been great. Maybe because I already had the mana, I should have just Dredger's Insight it anyway to set something up. Because here the game's just over, right? Yeah, there's really nothing here. We just attack, play a land, I guess leave it untapped so we could just use Live or Die as necessary, because we have to be able to kill Kona. It's kind of our only option here. Like, if we don't, we're definitely cooked with whatever's in their hand. And then there's that. That's possibly worse. See, the problem here, that puts us in an ugly spot because, yeah, I can't really use this because then we're shields down for Kona. And the opponent knows that. That's why they didn't play Kona there and go for their big play. I'm pretty certain of it. And I don't blame them. Like, that's the right thing to do. Yeah. I'm just going to do this. We already have a 4th land. I'm just going to go for it. If they have something big and get us with Kona here, we can just concede and move on. Oh, there's a Cotis. We'll just leave that there, because at least that's a fun thing to reanimate, but I don't even know if it's the one we want. But it's what we have now, so we're going to go with it. Kind of the tough part of reanimator decks. And here's why Cotis doesn't really work in here. Because it's only good when you have Arden. It's not going to do anything the rest of the way. Because we're not playing a bunch of removal. We're not giving him counters so he can trample or whatever. It just is what it is. Nah, bluffing the removal in hand just isn't even worth it. We just wouldn't be doing anything. We'd just be too far behind. I really just want to just concede. Like, opponent, just do your big thing so we can be done. Let's move on to another game. What are we even doing? Well, okay, I'm just going to give the opponent a game. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe their hand's bad with whatever the thing. Let's go to another one. We're not doing anything here. I get it. They're probably afraid of Cotis for some reason, but it was only going to deal 2 anyway. We weren't getting anything relevant out of that deck. like, we're dead already. Just kill us. What are we doing? Hey, Gatewatch, how's it going? Taking time to find people in the play queue. There we go. Oh, no, I understood what you were saying, Catastrophe. I still don't think it was worth it. Like, yeah, this sucks. I'm going to keep it anyway, though. The only bad part is we're holding both Cotis and Arden here. Yeah, this is going to go a whole lot of nowhere. This was just a bad keep. This one's on me, though, not the deck. Sure. I guess so. We might just get comboed out, too, if they have the right cards. Alright, there's a Trailblazer, which I'm assuming gets a mana and probably plays, like, Rhino or something here. Oh, or Riddler. That's just as good. That's 2 cards. Yep. And we're basically already dead. Alright, GG's. like, we're just going to get smacked for 8 a couple of times. We don't even have anything worth reanimating or a good man. But that's my fault. I kept a bad hand. I'm not going to put that on the deck. That's totally a me problem. Though, I am realizing something real quick. The obvious thing, actually, is I'm going to cut 1 Cotis. I'm going to cut 1 something else. I got to find a spot here somewhere. Maybe one of you, because we don't need tons of mana. God, I hate doing... I'm sorry. I hate deck building in horizontal mode. It is so much more inconvenient than just click a card, make it go away, click a number, add a card. Like, this is so much easier. I don't know. Some of y'all... I know y'all love doing horizontal. Vertical's the way to go when I'm deck building. Like, it's not even close for me. Some number of bitter triumph, so I can put stuff in the graveyard. Just because that's the thing we want to be doing. Let's see. If I cut the Valgavoth's Faithful, and I can cut 1 something, maybe an Overlord. I don't know. This is fine. I don't know. Deck building's fine. I mean, I don't know what you expect deck building to be. I mean, I've played a lot of digital card games, and this is fine. They all do it differently, but there's... I don't know, what would you want that it doesn't have now, I guess? Yeah, it's just... I know people love it. Like, when I deck build vertically, people get frustrated, but I'm like, man, it's so much easier. It's way faster. Having the single-click stuff to get any actions you want is so good, actually. Well, the reason you can only see so many cards when you're doing that is because they're at a certain size, so you can actually read them while you're doing it. If you put too many on screen and they're small, you're not going to be able to read it for a lot of people. So that, to me, is totally a reasonable change. We're going to keep this. I'll hit a black land or something off of the Dredger's Insight. Or one of my first 2 draws. At least that's the goal. And the problem is, that's the other thing too. If you build vertically, you get to see more cards when you're swiping than when you do horizontally because it's taking up less visual real estate. So all the more reason for me to be in vertical instead of horizontal. I'm just going to do this and pass so I can kill something if I want with the, or attempt to with the Bitter Triumph. It's probably not going to work, but you know. All right, target this. Like I said, it's probably not going to work, but I'm going to do it anyway. Discard one of these. Hey, cool. They didn't have the protective spell. That's nice. Usually they have that against me. Let's go with... Do I need a... I need a land here more than a creature. Alright. Let's take... probably this. And then just play that tapped. Gonna be weird to double Bellmark next turn, but that might be correct. Which is wild. Oh no, we're just gonna be dead. If I had a Reanimator card, we would still be dead, because all we would have is a 3/5 Yuna. I guess technically I could get 2 life here that might keep us alive. Wow, we just bricked that all to hell. Alright, so I put this at 8, at 10, sure. That didn't help at all. That's 2 very bad mills. Only a Yuna in the yard. Yeah, we're cooked. GG's, opponent. Yeah, you got it. Well, the blocker doesn't really work there in a lot of cases, because I would have had to take damage to play the land, so the one a bit at less life. And if they have any removal, then I'm just dead anyway. Right? And also console. So like there's no win there. Yeah, we're just doing nothing with this. GG's. Alright, I'm gonna call this one a failure. Because Kotis is just taking up spaces for no reason. There's just no reason to have Kotis with Arden. It's like the reason you don't really see, even with less colors, the reason you don't see the Cactuar, however you say that, like, the reason you don't see those in the Kotis decks, really. Like, while you can technically try to one-shot your opponents, when you don't have Kotis, it's just a bad card, right? Or don't have Arden, it's just a bad card. So, there's really no reason to do it, is the biggest thing. But right now, like, compared to the deck we played today that had Kotis in it, or that we put up on the channel, right? That deck is able to get Kotis bigger, give it trample, like, do all these other things. Where this, when you don't reanimate it with Arden, it's just a body. Like, it's arguable I could go Paleontologist potentially into Kotis, and he just sits here the whole game. Right? Until opponent is done chump blocking with all the things they need to, or can, or whatever. But that's kind of it. I'm still going to do it if I get the opportunity. But that's kind of part of the thing when you play a card like Kotis. I get that it has a really big ability, but they made it small for a reason, right? So your job is to, how do I give it menace? How do I give it flying? How do I give it trample? Whatever, so I can connect with the opponent. Oh yeah, they're doing the same thing. And I would rather have this in here than have Codas, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, we're going to play our Codas, but it's not going to get through because they're going to have a fear of missing out. I mean, literally, just play your 2/3 blocker opponent. It is totally safe here. I mean, I guess if I have a removal spell, it's not. So that's fair to at least consider that. Yep, there you go. This deck is why you mainboard Rest in Peace and Protection spells. I mean, I don't... I've thrown Rest in Peace in a couple of lists, but a lot of times it's just not worth it. Like, if you can just have a worthwhile spot removal or something and have it be useful against most decks, that's probably better for you. Like, I don't mind Paleontologist as an answer because I'm putting it in a deck where I need the different colors and stuff, and that just makes sense. Hey, we actually do the removal spell. Look at us. I'm just going to take the 3, whatever. If the opponent gets there, they're going to get us anyway, so I can't really worry about it. Let's take more damage. Why not? Wow, we've been drawing so bad with these flips. This is terrible. Did I get anything good I can play? Hey, I can play an Esper Origin. That counts for something. Bitter Triumph, then Finner. I probably just Bitter Triumph. I don't think we really want anything else. Because I know we're going to actually at some point play this other Dredger's Insight. And it's just going to flip stuff anyway. Yeah, but the Sack Orzhov deck, same thing. Like, if I can just remove one thing or exile one of their key pieces, you kind of get the same result. Don't target my Codas opponent. All right, there you go. They had to get rid of that, though, because they're trying to reanimate stuff. And their next turn is reanimate Una or whatever, so I get it. All right, let's go attacking for Codas. I don't think they're going to have much we're going to be able to get for 2. But we got one last time. Hey, we got to torch the tower that we're just going to decline because we had the only thing to target. So that's bad. Unit, I have to pay an extra 2, right? Yeah, all right. Pass the turn. Because I'm going to have to pay 4 to use a Bitter Triumph. Assuming they actually play Una. They might also just play an Esper Origins if they don't have a Reanimator spell or something here. But this is the situation, right? Because we have a little Codas. We've connected twice, and we've gotten one semi-useful card and one worthless card, and nothing else. Bitter Triumph does not suck unless you're running Seeds. Like, Bitter Triumph is a very reasonable card. Why would you think... Like, we were playing this before Cecil existed, even. Like, why would you think it's only good because of Cecil? Like, that... Not being rude, but that is very terrible logic. I need to go ahead and just kill this. Am I discarding a card here? Because I'm going to attack with this so I can start removing stuff from their graveyard. But I'm just not sure. I guess I'll discard this other Dredger's Insight. Yeah, real talk. Like, Bitter Triumph is a real Magic card. Well, we have a Una, but what can we get back? Nothing, because we're terrible at flipping. Not really. We could get a Fenrir. I don't know how exciting that is, though. I think I'm just going to stick with our initial plan. Wow, they have something for 1 mana? Oh, it's probably Torch the Tower. I was like, what would they be playing for 1 mana? Torch makes sense. So right now they could get a Fear of Missing Out with Una or a Bahamut. We will take that. You can have that Fear of Missing Out. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Wow. Okay. Is Eaten Alive not a better version of Bitter Triumph? No, not at all. Bitter Triumph requires you to sacrifice, or Eaten Alive requires you to sacrifice something. You also is that the one that's a sorcery as well? Yeah, I'm Bitter Triumph all day unless I'm playing a sacrifice type deck that wants stuff in the graveyard. Like if I'm sacrificing like tokens and things like expendable things, or even stuff that like when it dies makes a token or whatever, then I'll go ahead and play something like Eaten Alive. Otherwise, I'm playing Bitter Triumph all day. It's just a bigger difference. Like yeah, Eaten Alive's also a sorcery, so already worse. You have to have either 4 mana or a creature in play to get rid of this. So that already makes it less. Like it does exile, which is a step up, but yeah, the spell speed is a very big deal. As an example, in that game, had the opponent had the reanimator spell or the Yuna on the key turn, I would still be able to kill it with a Bitter Triumph. Would not be able to kill it with Eaten Alive, so they would have got whatever they wanted and got ahead on us. Or if your opponent is playing Kona, because that's another big deck, right? They go to tap Kona, go to the attack step. You can still kill it with a Bitter Triumph. Can't kill it with an Eaten Alive, so they just get whatever they're going to get, right? So there is just functionally a very different card. There are way more situations I want a Bitter Triumph than I want Eaten Alive. What's that blue diamond thing next to your daily quest? Blue diamond next to daily quest. Let me go back to the other screen. Blue diamond next to my daily quest. This thing? This is just complete 3 quick drafts, get 1,000 gold. There's just weird things that pop up here periodically. I just never draft, so mine just sits here like this. Yeah, sorcery versus instant is a huge difference. Like, if you're opting to play a sorcery over an instant speed spell, you need a real significant reason to play that sorcery. It either needs to be just outright better than the other thing you could be doing, or it needs to have a particular function. Like we're saying in the case of Eaten Alive, I might want to actively be sacking my tokens and my creatures to like deal damage to my opponent or whatever. So Eaten Alive could make sense in that type of deck. In this deck, where you're working up to have 1 or 2 big things, you don't want to be spending all those resources and time just to get rid of it to remove something, right? So you're less likely to play it Eaten Alive. It just doesn't make as much sense. Plus, whenever you're playing Bitter Triumph, I can directly kill something, put something in the graveyard, without having to have anything on the battlefield at instant speed, and then the next turn reanimate something. You run tons of protection spells in my deck as my interaction. That's fair. Dun, 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 dun. I started Arena Standard after seeing your videos. I made it to Mythic 98% my first month. That's awesome. Glad I could help somebody. I mean, like, here's the thing, too. I want to use Lido as an example here. Because there's so many people that will say, like, this deck can't beat anything. I don't know what you're talking about, whatever. But literally, at the end of the season, if I want to, we just hit Mythic, right? And that's with me testing all kinds of junk that y'all never even see. Like, just tanking my rank on some days. Just going from, like, you know, whatever, like Diamond 1 down to Diamond 3 sometimes. Just because some of the decks just don't work. And still ending up at Mythic. So it can totally be done. Like, I tell people that all the time. But I also tell people that a lot of those decks I wouldn't even consider for tournament play. Because playing on the ladder and playing in a tournament are completely different things. At the end of the season, I'll have, I don't know, like 70 decks up or something from this season. Realistically, of those, maybe like 12 to 15, I might actually consider playing in a tournament. Because it's just going to be a different environment. But yeah, it's funny too, because you'll see people, and it's not just on my channel, I've seen it on other people's channels too, where folks will show up and be like, I tried to build your decks and I couldn't beat anything, blah, blah. And then the next person is like Lido, like, oh, I finally made Mythic for the first time this season. You know, like, so I don't know. There's a lot of reasons it could happen. Maybe you got a bunch of bad matchups. Maybe you played against really good opponents. Maybe it's a skill issue and you're not as good at playing as you think you are. Real talk though, I think there is a real thing people don't consider. I think a lot of times is you have to consider the style of deck for your style of play, right? What you're comfortable with, what you're used to playing, whatever makes a big difference. Because I already know that if I play just the most hardcore grindy control deck, I'm not going to play it as efficiently because it's not typically my style of deck, right? So I already know that whenever I go to play one of those. And y'all see it on the channel when I play them, right? Like that's not news, right? We know that. But that's just going to be the case because that's what I'm used to playing more of or not, right? I'm playing more of these weird quirky cards or whatever. The other part of it is also I'm playing a lot of weird cards sometimes. We're making lists because we're making content, right? Sometimes we're just playing cards that nobody ever plays. So sometimes there's going to be weird stuff that either hits or misses, or our opponents play weird around certain cards because they've never seen them in play. Like all kinds of things happen. So you got to consider all that. I constantly tell people, don't look at if a deck wins or loses when you're watching any of these content creator videos. Look at how decks are winning or losing, and that'll tell you more of the story. Hey, that's cool. If hard aggro doesn't work for you, that's okay. Like there's different strokes for different folks. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Lito says, yeah, seeing your order operations helps so much, and being on a ladder, like, why would I cast my instant on my main phase and holding spells up? Well, yeah, that's stuff you just learn over time. Unless you're running true trash, less than 50% win rate, all it takes it ranks. Yeah, that's exactly it. If you're at least competent with the deck that you're playing, and the deck is at least a 51% deck, given a number of hours, you will get where you want to go, right? It's just going to take time. So all the aggro blue videos you make are entertaining, but not useful to me most of the time. Like, that's totally fair. Like, if that's not your thing, nothing wrong with it. I tell people all the time, a lot of content creator videos should be viewed as strictly entertainment. I don't think people should be trying to build most of the decks that each creator plays. Because one, again, we're making content. It's a job, right? We're grinding stuff out, going through all these ideas, trying all this stuff. But if one or two decks come up that fit your style or that you already own a bunch of the cards for or whatever, then yeah, take it for a spin. See how you feel about it. But I've actually seen people who get mad because they're like, well, I don't have the wild cards to build all these decks. Why do you keep doing all these things? And I was like, well, that's our job. Like, we go through the hassle so you don't have to. But you get to be entertained seeing some crazy things pop off, or wild losses, or hell, see me hit with a Codis and get 5 lands and a counter spell or whatever off my opponent's library, right? We go through that so you don't have to go through it. Bart is asking, does he still make Discover historic decks? Well, it's interesting because you could just ask me, but no, I only make I don't even think I've ever done. I don't know what a Discover deck is, so I can't answer that question. But a historic deck, I do those like every once in a while, maybe a handful of times a year, and mostly just because I'm testing the waters. And viewers don't seem to respond to those. Hell, I even built a crazy elf deck that went like some insane number. I don't know, were we like 10-2 or something or whatever? And that didn't get views either. So you just, sometimes we're just working in our lane. People have asked, hey, why don't we make other formats and stuff? Because they just don't draw. And I do look at other people's channels. I follow other creator friends. We discuss stuff all the time. And standard is still the biggest draw right now. Unless you are one of the creators known for being the drafter or the brawl player or whatever, right? Then, if you've carved out your niche, then cool. But for most of us, if we're making those other videos, they're kind of just so we don't get bored kind of side projects more than anything. But we know they're not going to perform as well. There's no more submissions this season, Galaxy. They will be, when Spider-Man goes live, we will repopulate the wheel for this season, or for next season, which is like 2 weeks away, I think. Is that Orcrist? Orcrist. That is an interesting name. Says, I really love Orzhov Skeletons, but I feel it misses something to make it competitive. Any ideas? Nope, no ideas. It just is what it is. There's just not that many great skeletons. I mean, like, that's the long and the short of it. You're playing the minimal number of skeletons with the best possible support cards and calling it good. I mean, that's what you can do with that deck. You just play the best support cards around like the 3 best skeletons and the enchantment. That's kind of it. Otherwise, you play one of the myriad of other Orzhov decks. Love to see your brews. I can watch a tournament if I want to see meta in action. I want to see you and Strictly Better theory test your new ideas and other cards. Yeah, that's what a lot of it is. It's just theory crafting. I should stop recording on this thing. The best content you make. The best content is content you have fun making. That's generally true. Yeah. Bart says, I like the Discover function. I don't know what it's called. Okay. Florida Man, posting lists in the deck channel is not, or in the chat is not going to go well. It doesn't format things well, whatever. If you want to discuss deck lists, there's two good ways to do it. You could either, we do some streams where we actually do decks, particularly, deck doctor stuff. But outside of those, we have a membership level where you can get private deck help that I just exchange messages with you, whatever, and we work on your deck. Or you can hop into the Discord, which is also free, and you can just come chit-chat in there, and everybody talks about decks all the time in there, and you can get help from the Dragon Brood community. So there's 2 ways to do it, but posting them in the chat is not going to go great. We need to battle? No, we don't. Shamil's actually a pretty sweet card. I like that card. I don't play it enough, honestly. Sir, not nice, that me. Yeah, we still don't need to play. I don't, honestly, here, real talk, in most games, I don't do a lot of direct to person play. I'll periodically do it a couple times a year. We'll just do a stream where I'll play with viewers and we'll do stuff. But I don't really challenge a lot of people. Like, I just don't. It's not my style of gaming. I honestly, I'm going to be real with you. I feel bad when I play long-term viewers and stuff and I just run into you randomly on Arena and play. Like, because you support me and you like my stuff, and then it sucks if I win and I beat you or whatever. And then there's like the weird part of if somebody beats a favorite creator or whatever, like, does that devalue that person's content? And then it's also weird too if I run into and you're playing like, I don't know, one of the meta decks and I'm just weirdly testing this random pile of 60 cards. Like, that's just a weird experience sometimes. Like, it's not anybody's fault. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not blaming anything on anyone. It's just a weird experience. So I don't often even consider chat. I don't even like chat in my games. I've said that many times before. I've started to favor more games that have less chat, unless I'm chatting with just like friends directly while I'm playing. Is a standard Pauper deck possible? I would love to hear your thoughts. Some version of mono red or mono blue, sure. I mean, I wouldn't go completely Pauper. You're gonna have to spend some number of rares and mythics, but not many. I mean, we had the mono blue aggro deck a couple of weeks, last week or the week before, and like that's totally fine. I think that thing had, what did we count, like 8 or 9 rares or mythics? I don't even think I had mythics. I think 8 or 9 rares. So I mean, it's doable if you want to do it. Mono red has some versions too that you could get away with it. The mono white life gain deck, you could probably get away with 6 to 8 rares. So like, there's options. Even if your deck is good, it's still a card game and it's based on chance. People shouldn't be so worried about it. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's the thing. It's always randomness, right? It doesn't even mean I'm better than the person I beat if you're a fan or a viewer or whatever. Just I won that time, But it's also weird. There's a weird dynamic where some people, and I've talked to people about this in person, like they both get nervous and excited because it's somebody they watch regularly, and then that makes sense. That's normal. They get excited to play somebody. But then there's the other side of it too, where we've done live streams where I've played against viewers, and I'm just going to use it as an example because this wasn't a thing the last time we did it, but they'll load into the queue and I let the chat pick between like 4 or 5 decks I'm going to play or whatever. And then they load up like the equivalent of whatever is it VV is in the format, right? Whatever the top deck is. And I'm like, what are we doing? Right? Like, if you just want to win that bad, great. But then at that point, I feel motivated to just like click through my turns, play my land, pass, so they can just have a win, right? Because they obviously just want to win more than they want to play Magic. And that's fine. Like, they get to brag and say they beat a content creator and they can feel good about it. And then I can go on about my day. Because like I've been lucky enough to play on the Pro Tour, to play in nationals, whatever. By the way, I did not do well on my Pro Tour stops. You know, I have won money in like Star City Opens and all that stuff. So like I've already done all the competitive things. So it's just like, I'm not motivated to be super competitive anymore. Occasionally, I'll go down to my local shops and play like the store championships, the standard showdown stuff, where I'll do that periodically. Pick me up some promos. A couple of them I won and got some prizes. That was pretty cool. So I'll still do that every once in a while. But I'm not traveling around trying to grind all the PTQs to get back on the Pro Tour and all that. I'm happy doing content, getting to do commentary for the arena championships. You know, like I'm enjoying the lane I'm in, truthfully. Do 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 do. Rocco says, "Hey, found your channel recently. Love the new deck videos daily. Going to try the slime deck out today. Don't play the slime deck, please. Save yourself pain and anguish. I said so at the end of the video. That was, I don't even know what version anymore. Probably like my 25th version of a slime deck. They're all not good. I'm genuinely like, they're fun when they pop off and they do the big thing, but the decks are not good. Like, genuinely. And I try to be honest with y'all at the end of the video. Like, when decks do well, I'll tell you, oh, this deck went 10-4. This deck went 12-3, whatever. When they're bad, I also tell you they're bad. I also tell you it's not worth building. It's just not. Save your resources if you haven't done it. Did you not watch the video? Like, I tell you in the video, don't build it. Like, how are you surprised? Like, I literally have had people go like, oh, you're just clickbaiting people and whatever. No, if you watch the video, I am completely honest about things. Like, I don't have a reason to lie to you. I literally said at the end of the video, I'm going to give a compliment sandwich. This is why it's fun and you want to do it, whatever. The deck sucks, don't build it. But hey, you don't have to waste resources on it because I already did the thing. I'm pretty sure some version of that, you know, wasn't verbatim, was what I said at the end of the video. Like, don't do it. It's fun to watch. There are some really cool turns that we got to do some interesting stuff. So the video's totally entertaining, but the deck's not good. Seriously. That's why I tell y'all, watch the entirities of the video. Like, I try to give y'all information throughout the entire video on different things to think about and cards I'm considering and whatever, and then give you a wrap up at the end. Like, I try to make sure that you don't go through the pain and suffering that I go through. Also, your duel video this week about you guys' predictions are fun. I wonder how the Spider-Man predictions will go. The Spider-Man predictions actually felt pretty easy, to be honest. Like, good cards are good, bad cards are bad. Sort of felt, I think like Bloomborough is the other set that I hit pretty square on the head when we did it. Like some sets, I don't know, you just look at them and it's just easy to tell. Same thing with Final Fantasy. I think we were pretty much on the money on all the cards in that one. Edge of Eternities was a little tougher just because we didn't really know how spacecraft or planets were going to work with Station, and we didn't really know if robots were going to be a thing. So, you know, we're trying to like guess based on what we're seeing. So there's some of that made that a little bit difficult to predict. KZ says, first time catching a stream and I love your content. You've been a big push for me to try Standard, and I've been having a lot of fun. Both you and SBMTG are awesome members of the community. Thank you so much. Also, if anybody's going to be down in Atlanta in 2 weeks, I will be there at MagicCon. If you're going to be in Vegas at the end of October, I will be at that Command Fest. And if you're going to be in Tacoma, Washington at that Command Fest the following week, I will be at that one as well. So there'll be a couple of chances to hang out, play some games, talk Magic if you're going to be there. You're most excited about the Spider-Punk deck? It looks kind of neat. I don't think losing to a non-content creator devalues your content. I've been beaten far better players than myself, simply because I was playing a nice brew. They were playing something made to beat the ladder. Yeah, also true. Also true. Arcane Bombardment, yeah, that was a wild time. Though, some of the Arcane Bombardment decks were actually pretty good. That's actually not fair. I tried, but you're right. I tried playing it with Arcane Bombardment. I didn't have a good time with it. Some don't listen. That's totally true. I was telling somebody this story the other day. Like, sometimes, no matter what you do to try to make things better for people, they're going to hear what they want to hear. I had a customer that came into my store, like, over the course of 5 weeks, I probably saw him 6 or 7 times, a little more than once a week. And we would talk about this tournament coming up we were doing, stuff he could do for his deck. He was going to pick up a couple singles on payday like the week before, blah, blah, blah. Then event comes, he's not there, right? The Monday after, he shows up and he's like, so, hey, when's that tournament coming up again? And I'm like, bro, it was last weekend. And he looks me dead in the face and just says like, man, I don't know how I didn't know that was happening. And I was like, dude, I don't know either. And I just went on about my day because I realized, doesn't matter, we had multiple conversations about it. Dude just didn't commit it to memory for whatever. So there's a point where I do my part to put the information out there. Then after that, I have to ignore the people who just didn't consume the information, right? And I can tell many times who's making comments on videos, one, before they've even watched any of the video, but many times I can tell how far they've gotten in the video because some stuff they said has been answered. Some things came up in certain games. So I'm just like, you didn't even watch the video and you're complaining about it, right? Like, that's a thing that happens regularly. How long have you guys been playing Magic? When God said, let there be light, and he flipped the switch and there was a stack of Magic on a table, I was there. So however long that is. Actually, not quite that long. Like year 2, the end of year 2 of Magic is really when I picked it up, I think. So around that time. What is it? March of the Ooze. Slime Against Humanity is what we're talking. Oh, was it the March Ooze? No, the March is actually good. The 6 mana enchantment, that's actually playable. Roko says, I've been trying to get Ouroboros working in a mana dork deck. It's interesting, but it's not consistent. Ouroboros works in a lot of things. Wadler says, hey, PowrDragn, weapons manufacturing for the wins? Question mark. I don't understand. That's like weird question / statement. Could you clarify, please? Ouroboros, I think, only works in best of 1. Otherwise, actually, no. There is mono green that I played 2 days ago. If you want to check that out, very good deck. That actually is an exact list that people play in best of 3. That's where it actually has shown up in some of the top finishes in recent MTG leagues and stuff like that. That's literally where that list came from. And it definitely plays Ouroboros. It is a real Magic card, y'all. I've been trying to push Sabsunin Ouroboros deck. It's fun and has no game against Synthesizer. Check out the deck we played today. We put it up. It had Kotis, Sabsunin, Ouroboros, but a whole variety of stuff. So, yeah, that at least has a chance in those matchups. I don't know. I'm having fun chatting with people. We'll get back to the wheel at some point. See you later, Florida Mullet. Thanks for stopping in. Rogo says, my thought was show them a bunch of dorks. Arena players love burning them. Then hopefully they don't have it. Yeah, that's always the case, but you can't, like, overload on that because at some point you need to draw substantial bodies. So usually anything more than 8 mana creatures at 1 and 2 mana is going to be too many because you don't want to be top decking those on like turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, right? You want to hit something of substance. Or when you get turn 1 Llanowar Elf, turn 2 mana creature, you want turn 3 to be an awesome thing you could do with 5 mana, right? Because you've invested in these first 2 turns. And if your hand are just landing more mana creatures, you just don't have anything going on. No, actually not 93. It would have been 94, 95. Magic actually came out in 93 at Origins Game Fair, I believe. And I picked it up late 94, early 95. A little fuzzy because it was a field trip and picked up some packs. Or actually picked up a starter deck and then didn't know we need another starter deck, but that's a whole thing. But yeah, but it's been about that long. That's why I say 94, 95. Like technically I picked it up and learned it, but didn't really play much until early 95. Felix says, hey, PowrDragn, what are the thumbnails for Spider-Man set going to look like? Exclusively Spider-Man or through the Omen Pass or a mix of both? We'll just see when we get there. Twitching Doll is fantastic with the plants. I don't know if I'd say fantastic, but it's not bad. You know, that, you can sack it and then get extra tokens. The thing is, though, you're kind of just hoping to beat your opponent down with like your 5, 6 twitching doll. You don't want to take the extra turn to make the tokens if you don't have to. Weapon manufacturing plus fabrication foundry is a fun combo. I don't even think I remember what fabrication foundry is. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I don't know why I forgot what this was called. I know exactly what this is. I mean, I don't know. All the weapons manufacturing decks I've seen that are good tend to be some version of black, red, green, red, green. I don't know if I would find enough things in white to justify putting into one of those. Not to say you can't. I just think the best versions are going to be one of those others. Because it's just easier to have multiple ways to sacrifice things and do all the stuff you want to do, or copy tokens or do all that in those other colors, than it is to try to squeeze white. Started in 97s. You've been playing a while. Sure, you can. But, I mean, again, go ahead and try it. I'm not saying it's terrible. It's an option that can be done for sure. I just don't know if having that as a detonator option is significantly better than playing the other colors that already allow you to detonate them for various things. And still just play better cards around the function. But if you can find enough white cards and artifacts that make sense, I say go for it. I mean, wouldn't be the worst thing. But alright, that's done. I'm going to go back, spin the wheel again. But yeah, that was just Reanimator. It was fine, but like, Codis isn't bringing anything to the table on that list. And I think we knew that going into it. So nobody was really surprised too much. Sacking the Pitiless Carnage. Yeah, again, you know, a black card that lets you sacrifice stuff. Alright, let's see what we got here. Our wheel says... Ooh, Landfall Insects. This one is from Night Sky. Alright. We haven't done insects in a minute, so this should be interesting. Let's see what we can put together. Alright. Landfall Insects. What do we got? Well, first we'll start with all the insects, because that's kind of the backbone of this. We got to start. I'm going to assume we're going to be... Well, I don't want to put it on just green. I got to see what other insects are in here. Because obviously the bulk of our insects are going to be green. We'll see if there's other stuff worth doing. Love your videos and content. Do you still remember what your first deck was? Do you have a favorite plane or set? I do not have a favorite plane, really. I don't think I have a favorite set. If you put my feet to the fire, I might say Tempest. First deck was a pile that was blue, black, and played... Oh, what was that thing? Oh, it's like the big thing from Revise. It was like a... Not like an Earth Elemental, but... You had to pay an upkeep cost for it. It was like a big dumb, like 8/8 or whatever, and it played Singer Vampire and Dark Rituals. Where it was just big green Golgari ramp, big stuff basically. That whole thing. So yeah, that was kind of where it was. Started playing back in '95 with Ice Age and 4th edition. Okay, yeah, that's the right timeline. That makes sense. I think here it's going to be just figuring out what all qualifies as insects that I would consider playing. Or that in some way help enable landfall. And I don't know how many of them that aren't green are going to be that helpful. I think these can work, some number of those. I'm not sure we want Molt Tenders. If we're doing landfall, this guy at least gains life, so it's not like the worst thing. I might as well craft that. I don't know why I haven't. This is just a death touch body. This doesn't do anything. Horn Beetle's interesting, but you got to have big creatures regularly to make that worth it. I do actually like this as a artifact enchantment removal of sorts if we're gonna be in insects already. Obviously, we're doing landfall insects. You got to play Ice Tail Explorer. This dude's at least interesting. This card, I'm kind of on the fence on this card. I've looked at this for building other things, And I don't know how much confidence I have in this card. Like a 4-mana 3/3 makes me feel real bad with the ability that it has. Like just growing itself once, maybe twice, if we already have an I Still Explorer every turn, doesn't feel exciting, but it also doesn't feel like trash either. It's like weirdly in the middle. Uh, does this end up just being a weird mono green deck? When the creature leaves the battlefield, put its counters on target creature you control. I mean, obviously, Atchik's pretty cool. Doesn't really do anything with landfall, but you just have a lot of insects. So we could splash black, get some removal options out of this. This guy destroys a token. Not that good, though. It just happens to be an insect. It does have reach, which is good against the mono red decks. Seed Ship, Brood Tender, Mill Stuff, Sacrifice, Return a Creature, or Spacecraft from Graveyard to the Battlefield. I mean, this isn't bad, right? You can get back one of your key creatures. I think, here's a weird thing. I kind of want to lean on some multi-mana cards. Because we already have Gene Pollinator, which can help with distant colors. Maybe we have to play, like, I don't know, Paleontologist or something. And then we play a bunch of shock lands so that we can play stuff like the biotech, so we can use the lander tokens for this guy so we can make our stuff bigger and have a flyer so we have some evasion. I don't think we want Molt Tender. I don't think we're necessarily going to have enough stuff in the graveyard regularly to make Molt Tender worthwhile. I think that's my concern there. When this creature enters, create a lander token. Pay 8 to draw 2 cards. Yeah, no, we're not touching that. That's not where we want to be. But I do think some combination of these can work. I mean, they're only 1/3s, so that's kind of my other issue, is I'm sort of thinking about how I would pump these creatures up or make them more threatening. Though a 2-mana 2/3 is pretty nice and a way to gain life, so I don't hate that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we don't need Biotech Specialist. Maybe that's just trying too hard. Probably only need 2 Atchiks also. But I do like what this brings to the table. But I think we only have this and one other card that makes lander tokens, like this thing. I don't think anything else does. So that could be a little difficult. We wouldn't be getting that much extra value off of it. Engineering? Does engineering make tokens? I thought they made robots. Oh, I'm thinking of this. This makes robots. This, however, does, let's see, each creature you control. Oh, but you have to already have played a land. I mean, it's better than nothing. The problem here, though, if I was going to do this, while I do like the lander token because we're doing the landfall thing, I'd almost be more inclined to play, what is it? Is it Velocipede? Yeah, for 3 mana, I can just guarantee things get counters. You know what I mean? And then if they sweep the board, I still have a reasonable thing I can attack with. So I'd be more likely to do this than the engineering, I think. Because literally everything is just like, cool, this gets either 1 or 2 counters. And then the majority of things in the deck, whenever you play them, you'd be able to just crew this up and attack. I actually like that a little bit more. But because of the deck we're playing, we may not even play this. You might want to play something like, what is that thing? The World Wagon, right? Because World Wagon just goes and gets a land and then triggers your stuff. So this is probably more worthwhile than anything. If we were to go World Wagon, I think. So yeah, let's do that. Plus, trying to ramp up if we're going to play the Genomorph. This gives us another way to search out like a basic island if we end up needing to, which is relevant. However, now we get into an interesting spot. If we are going to splash for some number of other mana, we probably need to trim some things down so we can get away with some actual like removal or something, right? Whether that's, I don't know, just regular spot removal, whether we're playing, heck, I don't know, heritage reclamation, you know, just stuff to deal with other problematic cards, I think. which makes me, this is interesting. This card really is perplexing for me. Because the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, if we have a World Wagon out, and then we play this thing, and then, like, we'll almost always have it be a 4/4 between that and the Ice Tail Explorer, and that seems kind of good. I think the issue, though, I think here's the bigger problem, is I want something that, I guess right now it's mostly green, so I'll look in that, but that cares about our stuff being insects. Because if we don't have something that cares about things actually being insects, which right now I think it's just Achic, we're probably playing just a lesser version of Landfall. You know what I mean? Bushwhack? Yeah, Bushwhack works. Lets us search for a land and it's a kill spell. I like that. Bushwhack's a reasonable suggestion. There's a Landfall mini board wipe from Tarkir. I don't even know. I probably don't even remember what that is. What is this guy? Oh, he actually, hold on. As long as there's 4 more card types in a graveyard, insects and spiders you control. Actually, I forgot about this. Or I forgot that it affected insects. I mostly think about the 2 insects that it makes. Do we have mostly creatures, though. Creatures, artifacts, and we will have some number of spells. And lands, of course. But we're trying to get our lands out of the graveyard. Dang. I don't know how often we could actually trigger this. It's interesting, though. This is a very interesting option. I'm gonna put 1 over there for a second while I think about it. Because that's a real option. To give everything Death Touch. That's real. But yeah, I don't know. Lands we can figure out in a second, because there's Verges, there's Shock Lands, whatever. We can make the lands work. I'm pretty confident in that part. So whatever we decide to play, as long as it's base green, I think we're fine. I just don't see a lot of stuff that... I mean, I literally just put in the word insect to see what had insect in the text box, and there's not a lot. I mean, we could play... Oh, what is that thing? It's like you choose a creature type... This Lifecraft Engine is also reasonable. And then, of course, there's Roaming Throne. If we just want to get a bajillion trigger. The problem is then our deck gets too top heavy, though. Because I'm already going to be trimming, like, probably one of these. I'm probably going to end up having to trim the Agrarians entirely. Because the top end's just going to get way too heavy. I don't think we can do that. While I like Roaming Throne, I don't know if that's our answer. Banner of Kinship could be amusing. It could just come out of nowhere. Decks have already been submitted a couple weeks ago. Next round will be after Spider-Man goes live, and we will put new submissions on the wheel. Yeah, I don't know if I would rather have Lifecraft Engine, Banner, or... it's really Lifecraft Engine or Banner. And it's probably Lifecraft Engine if I was going to do anything here. Huh. But that's probably it. I mean, we can at least play Cavern of Souls, right? Because we're playing a bunch of insects. So that's nice. I mean, we're playing a lot of creatures, even after we trim stuff. I guess we could get away with a couple of Courtyards. And then we just look at Verges. I'm going to start messing with land while I'm thinking about spell stuff. Yeah, we can just play a full set of those because it's base green. Maybe... let's see. What did we say the lands say? Pay 2 life on the lands. We have blue-green, so that works. We are also going to be able to fetch for some lands. We also have Pollinator and Paleontologist. So those help with our mana situation pretty well. The concern here, though, is if we do end up adding some off-color spells, we can't... I'm going to have to cut Courtyards, because you can't use Courtyards and Caverns to pay for the spells. So that's kind of the other issue. So, yeah. Fable Passage will get added to the list. The problem is I'm just thinking about how many. Because you want to have enough basics to support that, but then we're also playing World Wagon. So you don't want to get to where you don't have anything to search for. But I think if we cut one of these, we should only need one island. Between that, the breeding pool, the whatever. So we shouldn't need more than one island. I think we can trim those safely. And get some number, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I guess we just do a full set of Fable Passage. We can cut a couple of lands still. I think. Let's see. Right now, the only black spells we have are creatures, but I have a feeling we're going to add some others. We can turn the Wastewood Verge on fairly easy, though. I'm fine just cutting a couple of forest here. Because really, we only have 3 things that don't produce green, and that's fine. I think we're okay with that. So this is getting closer to looking like a deck. Like I said, I think I would still like having one more thing that unifies these together as insects, so there's a reason to do it. Three Tree City is interesting. The problem is our deck is going to be kind of, while we do have some cheap things, there's going to be a lot that's like squarely in that like 3-4 mana range, and I don't know if we would get all that much mana off of Three Tree City. That's usually better when you're playing a bunch of really small things or you're making a bunch of tokens that share a type. Because here, even if we were to get 3 Tree City, the other thing I was about to say is, I don't even know how we're, like, once we run out of cards with this, our advantage is just thinning the deck out, right? Replaying lands with Icetail Explorer, getting lands out of the grave, or out of the deck with World Wagon. But we don't really have a way to move things forward. We don't have, like, clues that we're drawing with, or whatever. Whale of War or Dragonborn Assault from Dragonstorm. Or Dragonborn Assault isn't great for us. One, that's off color, so that's going to create a different issue. And it would also kill a reasonable amount of our cards. So I don't know if that's great. And you don't want to double trigger it with Icetail Explorer, because then you just kill your Explorer. Whale of War, though, I don't even remember that card. It is apparently not green. I'm assuming it's red or black. Whale of War. Target creatures, opponent control gets -1/-1. Return up to 2 target creatures. Yeah, I don't think I want this card. I mean, this is just like, it's a magic card. Like, I mean, I don't know what I would even do with this. It doesn't kill. I mean, against maybe the white life gain deck, you get to kill their flyers because they have the 1/1 flyers. But I don't think this does much against anything else. Yeah, just not terribly exciting on that card. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at on here. Like, it feels close, but I don't know. I feel like if I'm in black, we should be playing like some Maelstrom Pulse. You know, just take advantage of, like, if we're already going to have the ability to cast this other stuff and have those other colors, I just feel like that would be better. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some Maelstrom Pulse in here. I really want to put 3, but the problem is I only have room for 2 currently, so I got to cut something else. This does, while it does require more mana, let us destroy artifacts and enchantments. The good news is we should theoretically be able to get to more mana. Between our early mana creatures, World Wagon, Icetail Explorer, like, we should be able to make that happen. I'm also wondering, there's an interesting thing here too, right? We could use, say, like, Might Form to crew the World Wagon and then double the World Wagon, so that could be kind of fun. There's some interesting interactions there. I like that. Swarm Weaver, do we care about you? I mean, we're going to get 2 insects no matter what. How often do we think we'll actually trigger this? I mean, as we add more spells, it becomes more of a possibility. But I guess there's no good way for us to reload our hands right now, I think, is the issue. Not that we have to. I mean, if our deck's doing what it's supposed to do, then, like, having more cards isn't going to be the end of the world. But, when Edgic enters, create a green insect creature token for each artifact or creature in your graveyard. When another insect you control dies, put a counter on this. Each opponent loses a life. This still feels worth playing. I just don't know if I want 2 or if I want 1. I think I'm going to go 1 for now. And then... God, I feel like... I don't know. I feel like we're close. It just... I don't know. Like, it just feels like something's missing. I guess we could just goof around with this for a while and just see how it plays. But I do feel like something's missing. Like, I feel like there's going to be several games we can fall a bit far behind. And I feel like I want like 3 more removal of something in here. It always feels good to play against troll when you can't board wipe or counter enough things before they lose. That's fair. But alright, yeah, this is a tough thing too, because I would like to have, say, a like Restless Cottage in here. But we're back to the point of also needing to have targets for, say, like World Wagon, Fable Passage, so we can't cut too many of a thing. I think right now, though, since Genomorph... Well, no, because we still want to... this is so tough. I'm going to play 1. I'm going to play 1 Restless Cottage. Because I want 1, but I can't justify too many of them. So we're going to go there. And then I think we'll just try this for the time being and see what happens. But I feel like it's going to be removal light. I feel like it should be playing maybe, say, like 1 less Paleontologist, 1 less Web Strike Elite, possibly a Might Form Harmonizer, 1 less, and then turn those into 3 removal of some kind. Is I Still Explorer good here when we already have other things to get more land? Yes. Because we still have some triggers for Harmonizer, which will still double power each time we landfall. We gain life each time we landfall. We get to turn creatures into big creatures every time we landfall. Like, it's not just about getting the land, it's about the landfall triggers. So it's actually doing multiple things in here. So I would say yes, the card is still worthwhile. Alright, so I'm going to get a Paleontologist, a Web Strike Elite, and 1 Harmonizer. Which also, we can warp this in cases where it's necessary. And then I think... What removal would we want to play? We already have Maelstrom Pulse. I guess just playing Shoot the Sheriff or something's probably fine. Ooh, actually, let's be a little bit different. Let's go to Shoot the Sheriff. And what's that 1 wild removal card from Edge of Eternity? Is it Depressurize? Let's try that out. And just see if that does anything relevant. And maybe this pile does a thing? I don't know. Let's go see. Broodguard Elite feels bad. I feel like I would rather just play some kind of dragon. Because does Broodguard Elite even do anything? No, it's just a body. It doesn't have trample. It doesn't have reach. It just... Like, you'd be paying 7 just to have a 5/5. Like, you could just make a dragon that's 5/5 or something. I mean, I'd be more inclined to probably play the Aganosaur Rex, because then I could just protect a creature and or give something trample when I have the Harmonics guy go off. The Harmonizer. Like, that would just be better. Like, Broodguard just doesn't do anything. Like, it's big, but it just doesn't do anything. Alright. I wouldn't be excited for the banner that ramps. I would rather have... That's why when we were looking, I would either play the artifact that I could crew as a vehicle after a sweeper or whatever, or I would play the banner of kinship, so I can just have bigger creatures. Because ramping shouldn't be too big of a problem in this deck. I wouldn't think. If it is, then we already have other issues. Will the deck list for this thing be posted or where, or should I screenshot it? I don't know. We may or may not turn this into a video. We don't even know if it's playable, honestly. I wouldn't be worrying about that right now. This could just be a pile. Okay, opponent goes first. We're definitely going to keep this. Oh, we're going to get run down by the life gain deck immediately? That's not fun. And we'll see what happens, though. Yep. Makes sense. Have a feeling we're going to play this and it's just going to get exiled and it's going to make us feel sad. But don't have a choice. I mean, we do, but we don't, really. Yep. Here comes a Shelter by Ghost. Like, they highlighted their card and then our card. So there's a good chance that that's what... Oh, they actually opted not to. I'm impressed. I genuinely thought there was going to be a Shelter there. And another creature. Sure, you got it. Oddly, the pollinators are 1/2s, which is cute. Yeah, we just take it. I'm going to go searching for... an island, probably? Oh, Maelstrom Pulse. You're almost a good card here. Problem is, we have to tap down to do anything, but it might still be worth it. Just what are we wanting to do here? Because I can only take so much more damage. Man, these little guys don't have reach, do they? Nope. I guess we just pass. I'm probably going to end up just shoot the Sheriff on a Pride Mate and hope they can't defend it. Hopefully they get greedy and put a Shelter on it or something here. Okay, well, that could have been worse. Alright. Yep, those come in. I mean, I guess I could have done it pre-combat because they were going to attack with the same stuff, but they get one more point of life here. Alright. You got it. Okay, and we got a Fable Passage. What the hell are we going to do with that? Let's see. We could play this, play a Fable, but the land still comes in tapped. We could tap the other two to play another one. I mean... okay, that's not nothing. I don't love it, but it helps. It's like one of those things where it's not great, but... oh, no, we actually can't. I'm going to be short of mana. Oh, that doesn't work the way I wanted it to. That's my fault. I even said this was going to be tapped, and I still did the thing. So I'd have to... So I can just play... I could tap this and this, but then I can't fetch with it. Ah, boy, what are we doing? I'm going to play this as a flyer. I think it's worth it. Yeah, tap this, I guess. Oh, wait, what? Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's just... for some reason, it was making me submit, then clear, for some reason. But alright. I mean, we still probably get wrecked by Shelter or something. Yeah, Leyline Axe is still pretty wild when you see one of those early. Yeah, if your opponents just draw their best hands, like, you just suck it up and move on. You know, there's not a lot to be done there. Alright, I'll take my 3. That's our best case scenario by playing the flyer. They don't want to commit anything else, so that's fine. Okay, now we can do some stuff with Fables. We can play the Terrabotanist. Probably exile Enduring Innocence. Or at least destroy it with the... Oh, but that just comes back from the graveyard. And then we're probably better off getting rid of Linden. Or do I... Is this an Ice Till Explorer turn? I don't think it is. I think we're just doing this. Then we trigger some stuff. Turn yourself into a 3/3. Why not? And then go get a land. This will just be a forest. Sure. We at least get our life total going back the right way to stabilize for a second here while we try to figure something out. And then I guess with this one, I'll get a swamp in case Ashik shows. I guess we don't. It doesn't really matter. We have the pollinators in play. Though if I had instant speed removal, I could have just done all that on their turn, and it would have been, you know, 3/3 blockers and stuff would have been much better. Now, though, I was just thinking, if I were to play Explorer, 1, 2, 3, 4, tap those, get the Explorer, replay a land, get 2 more, get 4 more. Nah, this is probably still best. Let's just kill Linden, I suppose. They'll get a card, but it's fine. They might also just have another Linden, so who knows. The concern... Well, I guess if they were to get their Leyline, they would need more mana right now, so that's okay. No attacks. I'm just going to keep them from attacking for the time being. Bridemate? Sure, you got it, pal. Probably will find another creature to cast here, so Pridemate can be even bigger. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, this is going to be the concern. This is what I was saying with the creatures being so small. I don't think we can be aggressive enough to do what we need to do in a lot of these scenarios, unfortunately. Trigger all the things. Yep, make you into a big body. Wow, alright. A cavern, sure. Hey, more subs. Thank you. Play another Fable Passage, which then makes a body into a 6/6. That's not nothing. Problem is, if they block and they put the counters on a flyer... what does this do? It's actually... I'm not even benefited to crack these 2 Fable Passages right now. I'm better using them on defense. Alright, I'm going to attack with the 6/6, I guess. It doesn't do much here, but... I mean, they could block with Innocence if they want. Pump their other dudes. Yep. Yep, another Pridemate, sure. Yeah, we're just not going to beat this at this point. We don't... The problem is the deck doesn't have a punch-through turn. The best thing we could hope for, sorcery land instant, is if we block with a creature and we find the Swarm Weaver or whatever, because then everything has Death Touch. That's our way out right now. And I have to hope we don't mill it with the Ice Till Explorer. So we're not in good shape, to say the least. But we still got to try. Alright, we're going to be out of basics pretty quick. I'll turn you into a 6/6 because we don't really need the mana anymore. Okay, that was a safe card to hit. I was gonna say, can I not crack this one? All right. And then go get another basic. Turn... I don't want to really give up any of these, but I think we have to. Alright, well the good news is we are finding lots of land to go into the graveyard, so we have options for Ice Tail Explorer. Alright. So that went about as well as we could hope. Sadly, they left something on top, which is bad news for us. Geez, what can we even do here? I don't know what we do here, y'all. I mean, obviously rebuild the board, but this doesn't feel great. I mean, I guess we'll Fable to eventually get the last land, the last basic. They put 5 counters on a flyer. Technically, we could still block, so I mean, I guess that's fine. Oh no! Maelstrom Pulse would have been good. Alright. Would you like to block and trade? Because this is probably the last chance I actually get to offer this trade. Then we're just on defense. And they're thinking about it. And they're checking their graveyard. Okay. Do you have a protection spell? I'm not doing anything if you're not doing anything. Alright, cool. That mostly helped. Alright, so I'm just going to play a forest here. No need to play Fable Passage, because we know we can only go get 1 land. But now, if they crack their case to try to replay their stuff, we can remove things with Paleontologists. And that's relevant. Oh, wait, did we flip the last basic? Oh, phew, I thought I saw that go into the graveyard. Alright, well, this is why we do what we do. Let's get rid of you. Because you're the real problem. Playing Raise the Pass in that deck. What kind of villain are you? I don't even know if it matters what we tap. Let's tap you, because we're not blocking with you anyway. I mean, they do get 1 Pride Mate back, but I think we still have 1 Maelstrom Pulse we could find to also get rid of double, so that's fine. But this is also why we needed those extra removal cards. Alright, take our turn. This sucks, because I want to search for a land, but I also don't, because we need it defensively. Okay, does this change a thing? We could make the Genomorph 6, then double it with this, so it would be 12, and we could double it to 24, and then do the last search for 48? Is that math right? Because we could stack these triggers. Too bad we don't give something trample here. But we at least force him to block with the bat. I don't know if that matters. But then we also lose the option to defensively fetch, which is unfortunate, but is what it is. So let's do this. Let's put this on Insect. Let's put this at the top so we can target itself. We will double this. All right. And then we'll play another land. I guess just playing it. I mean, I guess we might as well play it untapped. We might want it for one reason or another. Don't think it matters that much this time because I don't know, man. We'll get in there with this guy. I don't see a reason why not. Oh wait, I targeted with the wrong thing. No, I wasn't paying attention to the order stack. Dang it. I meant to put that on the Imago. That's a mistake on my part. And I've already played my extra land. Okay. Oopsie. I wanted to force the block with the flyer, but we're not going to get to do that. Whoa, the opponent's not blocking? I mean, we can't kill them now anyway, though. We just make this in a 24-36. Yeah. Dang it. Ah, well. I created this problem. Yeah, I was going to say, we should have exactly one basic left, which we do. It doesn't really matter what we do with these. Otherwise, just double the power of this guy, I suppose. Yeah, you can be big for a second. Why not? You can enjoy that life. All right. I mean, we got through for as much as we could in the turn. I guess there's a world where I could have attacked with multiple things and forced some weird blocks, but I don't think it would have changed much. We didn't mill anything too relevant in that process either. It was land, world wagon, so that's also good. And we know right now they have to dedicate the flyer to blocking the Imago. We can activate our creature land, turn 2 low guys into a 6. So they block 1, 2, 3, 4, well now 5. And they would take 4, 5, 6. So right... Oh, they're going to gain a couple of life here, though. And they'll gain life when they block. So we're not quite there. Maelstrom Pulse would get us there, though, for sure. Oh, well, we get there anyway. That was painful. But we got to win. We got to win. It was crazy, but we got to win. So I'm not going to complain. We'll take it. But let's see. All right. So assume I play 2 lands, which I was going to do. We make some knuckleheads, these 2, I guess, into 6s. They block 1, 2. I'd probably make this into a 6, though, honestly. But either way, they block 1, 2, 3, 4. Blocker land is 5. And then they take 2, 4, 6. So they would have been at 2. And we would have been down to pretty much nothing except for what got through. So I don't know. That's a weirdly close game. I could have went a few different ways. But yeah, you just take those when you get them. That was ugly. Interesting, but ugly. Okay, so new issue. Because this had the problems we thought it was going to have, right? Trying to punch through stuff or whatever. Also showed us that depressurized, that's a reason you don't play it. That's a matchup where if we'd have drawn depressurized instead of shoot the sheriff, we'd have felt real bad, right? You know, I'm going to say something that's going to be real sad here. But this deck might as well be playing Ouroboros. Like, it really is just the best thing to be doing at 4 mana in green right now if you're playing creatures. It sucks that that's the truth, but I think we should be doing it. I will say, though, I like the idea of what Swarm Weaver brings to the table. I don't hate it. It's not an insect itself, but giving everything death touch is kind of nice. Doesn't do a whole lot in some cases. It just makes sure, like, 1 and 2 power dudes be threatening to where they don't have good blocks, which is pretty nice, honestly. But outside of that, I don't know. Like, how much better would this be if some combination of these were Ouroboros? I think is the thing I'm asking myself right now. Like, is that better by any significant margin? Like, if we cut these and, I don't know, 1 World Wagon and just played Ouroboros, is that better? Like, I feel like the answer is probably yes. Like, I don't like it that that's true, but it kind of feels like that just is the answer. So I think that's, man. But I also kind of like the idea of late game, if you were to draw Ouroboros after an Atchik or a Swarm Weaver, that could be kind of exciting. If we're just trying to do big things, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. It's, I feel so bad. I want to do all kinds of things with this deck, but I just don't think it's built to do the things I want to do with it. We get in at least 2 Ouroboros. Maybe, I think it has to be a third, and I think we just have to decide. Either we keep Swarm Weaver or we keep Atchik, but we don't keep both. And whichever one we take out gets replaced with an Ouroboros, I think is the situation. I just don't know which one I like more. If the game goes really long, obviously, like, Atchik has real value, because then you just put, like, 5 extra dudes onto the battlefield. I mean, granted, they're all ground creatures, they don't fly or anything, whereas Swarm Weaver at least gives you flyers, and it costs less, which isn't to be taken for granted. Cut the life gain guy for Ouroboros? Okay, you have a big problem here if you do that. One, you're talking about cutting a 2 mana thing for a 4 mana thing, which is a very significant difference. So you're taking away any options you have in the early game to that kind of buy you time to take advantage of Ouroboros to do that. I don't think we want to be making that decision. I would, especially with us also having some landfall stuff and getting landfall trigger benefits. I would much rather get rid of the upper end, because in more cases, Ouroboros is just going to have a bigger impact than either of these cards. Just being real. Honestly, I'm leaning toward cutting Atchik and playing the Ouroboros. And I think that's one of the things that people run into is, like, it's easy to say, like, oh, well, the life gain guy, I don't necessarily want that much. But then when you start looking about what do your opening hands look like, right? If you replace those things with Ouroboros, it starts to look kind of ugly. Because now it's like, okay, let's say you get a couple of land, a Maelstrom Pulse, a World Wagon, an Ouroboros, and something, right? Like, that hand is probably a mulligan, because you're not doing anything at all till turn 3 with a deck that wants to be playing creatures and getting landfall triggers. So you have to have, in this style of deck, you have to have enough small things to take advantage of the early game, make your opponent use some removal or whatever, so when your Ice Till Explorers and your Ouroboros or whatever show up, they have a better chance of sticking, if that makes sense. But yeah, this version feels better. I think this could work better for us. Because that last game as well, if we'd just had an Ouroboros on those turns where we're just sitting there staring at each other, Ouroboros just puts the game away. We could have just made Ouroboros like 6 power one time, pumped everything, and then the game's just over. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how good that card is in different scenarios, but Ouroboros is a legit Magic card. So yeah, I think if I were to submit this is the list I would submit if somebody wanted to play Landfall Insects. Again, you're playing Ouroboros, you're playing Paleontologist just to make some things work, you know, to justify having certain colors and make things happen. But I think this is actually way more interesting. With the double trigger Star Singer, good due to double landfall triggers. I don't even know what you're talking. Star Singer? Is that a card? I'm assuming it's a different color. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'd have to know the card so I can make a reasonable argument. Like, I don't know what we're discussing. Is it second spell type thing? Oh, are you talking about this guy? Cosmic Grand Zenith? That's a whole different color. But that also does, I'd have to play 2 spells. There's a lot of turns we're not going to play 2 spells. We're just going to be activating and getting landfall triggers. So that's probably not what we're looking to do. If there's something else, I don't know what that something else would be. But that's not really a thing for us. Oh, you're thinking, I know what you're thinking about. You're thinking about, dang it. I know the card now. Oh my gosh, it's a blue card. I know exactly what you're talking about. Um, it's the one that has warp. This guy, Starfield Vocalist. This is what you're talking about. Um, I would say it could be worth considering. Again, though, I don't know where you squeeze it in, right? I think that's going to be the bigger problem. Like, where do we make room for such a card? Like, we're already down to just 2 Web Strike Elites, so you can't cut too many of those. Because it has reach and is a way for us to get rid of artifacts and enchantments. Maybe you could trim a Pollinator. Maybe trim a World Wagon to squeeze 2 of them. And then you're looking at Terrabotanist for triggers, Imagos for triggers, Ice Till Explorers. But this really just lets you mill twice. I don't know if that's a thing we really are worried about activating twice. This would go off twice, or a board would go off twice, right? Because it's triggered abilities. Permanent causes a bit, yeah. So we do have things that could matter with it. Ouroboros and the Harmonizer being the 2 biggest ones. So that's there's an argument to be made there for a couple copies of that, I think. Realistically, if you want to do that, that's not crazy. I mean, I could be talked into that being a thing. I wouldn't play more than 2, probably. But, you know, it works. Like I said, I could be talked into it. Like, 1 less Pollinator, 1 less Whirl Wagon, boom, boom. You know, like, that's actually reasonable. And then that's probably as far as I would go with this. I think this is everything I would want to do with this list. I think it has enough, at least this way now, you have enough ways to actually close the game, which is a big deal. Like, if the game starts getting gummed up, you have a way to get there. You get a little bit of trickery here with the Starfield Vocalist, whether you're trying to turn multiple things into 6/6s, or maybe you're trying to double the power of something multiple times. Like, that could be a thing. So, like, possibly. And you do still have 6 actual removal cards. 1 of being Maelstrom Pulse that can get rid of anything. And you do still have some flexibility from the 2 copies of Web Strike Elite. So I think together, this is a pile of things that makes sense. A lot of the deck's leaning on turn 2, obviously, where the bulk of your creatures come into play and do things. But reasonable, makes sense. And then this is technically a 2-mana warp spell, you know, so you can do some stuff. But there is a lot at 4 mana. So you kind of need these things to exist for a turn or 2 to get you to this spot. If anything, because it's so top heavy, I almost want another Paleontologist over one of these, but I don't even know what I would cut at this point. Like, I don't even think you want to cut necessarily Ice Still Explorer. So, if anything, it would be Swarm Weaver goes away, and I would play another Paleontologist. But for sake of the experiment, I think we at least got there. So, I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. I think this is a really cool one. But, yeah, this was a lot of fun. It was interesting. And it's playable. Like, that's the whole goal, right? Can we turn these ideas into playable things? And I feel like we got there because we made landfall matter. And to some extent, we made the fact that they're insects matter, which was a thing I wanted to make sure was in the deck. And we have removal, and all the cards work together. That's kind of all you can hope for. So yeah, hope you all enjoy that one, because that was an exercise. Oh, it only does ETBs? Well, yeah, but I think that's still fine. Permanent Inner Battlefield causes stuff to trigger, so that's fine. I mean, it'll still trigger these from landfall or whatever, so that's okay. It just doesn't trigger Ouroboros. That's whatever. Like, still triggers the other stuff, and we're okay with that. Like, it'll still trigger Swarm Weaver to make 4 things instead of 2 things. You'll gain double life off of this guy. You'll turn 2 things into 6/6s here. So, like, it only doesn't work with her. And to be honest, Ouroboros is already good on its own, so it's not a big deal. I think that's totally fine. So, yeah, there you go. We built 2 decks. One was about as bad as we thought it was going to be. The other actually was kind of what we thought it was going to be. It was just finding a way to make it work. So, sometimes it's like that. So what do we have left on the wheel? Let me go back and take a look. So left on the wheel, we have Veteran Ice Climber, anything, just if we can make the card work. Merfolk Leviathan, which I don't think will be that hard. I think that's something that's reasonable. We have Go-Go Master of Mimicry, which I don't know what we would do with Go-Go. I haven't even thought that much about it. Flicker Warp Manifest is interesting because we haven't totally done that list, but we did something kind of similar, so I am just going to take that off the list because I think the deck we had would be the starting point, and I don't think we really need to do the extra on there. And then Synthesizer Moonlight Meditation, I think I'm also going to take off the list because I feel like we've just seen so many versions of Synthesizer and a couple people already playing the meditation. So I don't think I'm really adding anything to the environment by making that an experiment. Because really, it's just going to be Synthesizer and you're adding in like 2 copies of Moonlight Meditation, right? I'm not building a new interesting deck. It's going to be the same thing, but I swap like either 2 to 4 cards. But yeah, so that remains Golo, Atrata, Merfolk Leviathan, and Veteran Ice Climber, or all that will be left. If I can find time, I don't know, this weekend maybe, or early next week, we might try to knock out 2 more of these off the wheel. If not, then the wheel will just go dormant until the next season, because next Wednesday is when we have the streamer event, so we will be playing decks using Omen Pass cards, because if you say Spider-Man's, people get upset. But yeah, and then after that, obviously, everybody be looking at new decks with new cards or whatever. And then around that time, probably the end of next week, I'll put up a post for anybody who's even a level 1 channel member. We will put it up and say, hey, and it doesn't have to be just Spider-Man cards, but it'll be the same thing. Hey, what type of cards or decks or whatever that are standard legal that you haven't seen, or combinations you want to see work together, then we'll use that to populate the wheel, and that will be what's on the wheel for the next season for us to build decks from. So kind of an extra reward for just being a channel member. You get to participate in stuff, dictate some things that get to be on the channel, and just kind of have a good time. You know, something a little bit different. But yeah, that's the wheel. That's all the wheel's going to do for now. we are done with the wheel. I am doing no more wheel. That is a real exercise, y'all. Like going through the thing, because truthfully, if I were doing it myself, that whole thing we watched over the last hour messing with this deck, hour and 15 minutes or so, I would probably have taken closer to 3 hours. Like, I would have fine-tooth combed a bunch of cards. I would have probably played, I don't know, 10 or 12 test games. I would have come back plus or minus the numbers, 1 here, 4 there, you know, and try to key it in and then make a video for it. So it's a whole different process when you're doing it live, you know, just because while I am trying to share some ideas and processes, whatever, the other part is also y'all need to not be bored watching me deck build. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, you need to, it's still an entertainment. You're giving your time. So at some point we got to get to games and just play, and, you know, whatever it is what it is. And that's also the tough part too. I think when you're making creator content, there's a lot where people will complain about, oh, you should play faster, or you play too slow, or you're playing too fast and you're making mistakes because you're playing fast. Or like today I had a couple people that were like, I wish you would switch the order of your Ouroboros more often. Like, the reason I don't is because I'm looking at the board state and I know it doesn't matter. Like, my Ouroboros being 2 bigger right now or whatever, when I only need to get 1 creature through, I don't care. They're going to be big enough in 2 turns anyway with the turn I need to attack, so I don't swap them. The 1 or 2 times you see me do it is because, like, things are kind of jammed up and there's a chance they might remove one of my Ouroboros or whatever, and I'm like, okay, this extra couple of points might matter because I need to block or do some things or whatever. But generally, a lot of the things everybody wants to see something different, you know? Or some people want perfect play, and I'm just not going to give them that, so I don't even worry about it. Because like I said, I've done the competitive thing for a while. That's behind me. I'm playing now to have fun and just throw cool ideas and try different piles of cards, and that to me is way more entertaining. I don't even... Like, not saying... I do like competitive play. I like doing commentary for it. But I just don't need to make content on it every day. Because here's the reality. If you really want competitive play, quit watching all of us casual creators. Like, seriously. Go watch guys like Reed Duke. Go watch Seth Manfield. Go watch Yellow Hat. Go watch, hell, Newmont the Nummy if you need some limited stuff or whatever. Or, hell, there's a bunch of people. Paul Cheon is another good one if you want to go watch him, right? Those guys are playing certain strategies all the time because they're grinding stuff out and, they're trying to ladder up. They're trying to test for big events. Like, that's what they're doing over there. Over here, or on CGB's channel, or on Ash Little's channel, or on Swayze's channel, or whatever, like, we're just playing cool ideas and having fun. Like, hey, thanks for the new follower, by the way. But if we can just do fun things with weird cards, that's what we're doing. And I've told people directly, like, if you're just going to complain because, like, oh, you could have had lethal here, you missed this thing. And it's like, we don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, creators, when talking to other creators, they'll say it, they won't say it publicly. I don't have a problem saying it. Like, I don't care. Like, I really don't. That's not what we're here for. Like I said, I'm expecting I'm going to make at least 3 mistakes every video. Minimum. And there's several that people don't ever even comment on. They don't even see. Or they just don't realize it was a thing or whatever. So, I don't worry about that. And most of the time, I have multiple monitors up, even especially right now. I have people messaging me about making arrangements for things in Atlanta coming in, and I'm waiting on a text from somebody or whatever. So I'm not even 100% focused while I'm playing. Like, I can't be. It's just like the life I live. Not like I'm big time, but like I just keep a lot of things going on because we have like the podcast, 2 podcasts that I'm on or whatever. And we're dealing with sponsorship stuff on one, and my partner's having a computer issue on the other one, and you just don't have time to, so don't worry about it. I would rather y'all get a fun, entertaining idea. Now, don't be wrong, occasionally, like the mono green deck was like, well, I wanted to feature a mono green deck anyway, and I found one that's been doing well in the major tournaments. So it's like, cool. In that case, you get to see a competitive deck while we're playing just whatever on the ladder, right? So it does cross paths sometimes, but not for regular content. Not every day. Any questions actually about anything? About my trip to WotC last week? About Spider-Man related stuff? If you have questions about cards about that, or through the Omen Pass, if you prefer. There's a lot of things actually right now, or just general content questions. This is your time. I have about probably about 5 or 10 more minutes before we wrap this up. But man, I have to admit though, the insect deck was actually pretty fun. At least it was interesting. It was different. It definitely didn't play like other decks that we've built. And I think that's always the thing I look for is how different does this feel from other stuff we would want to do. Now, I will say this. It's probably not going to be as consistent as just the mono green landfall list. I think that's real. If you're just looking to do straight up landfall, I think the mono green one's just going to be better. But I do think the difference in the 2 decks is this one is able to play a bit of a longer game. Because you have the actual removal, you have stuff like Ouroboros now, you've got a few things, some life gain. So the things where you can buy time and get where you want to go. The podcasts are actually online and audio if you want to check it out. They are Magic Mike's and Color of Magic, so you can check both those out. Color of Magic's coming up on 300 episodes, and Magic Mike's is way beyond that. So, Magic Mike's, we normally cover mostly Magic news. Color of Magic, we cover a large chunk of Magic stuff, but we also talk about kind of social issues around a lot of different games. So when there's like major lawsuits going on that people might not know about, kind of deep diving into some different things, some old history of stuff at times. Like this week, we talked about the AI Midjourney lawsuit because they're being sued by Disney, NBC Universal, and Warner Brothers. Right, so that was something we touched on this week. But we did also talk about, my trip to WotC. We talked about the reception to Spider-Man and the Omen Pass or whatever, because that's still a thing. So we still cover all that, but we kind of give you some other news you may not pay attention to. Society Geek says, "Hey, I found you on YouTube. Love your content. Love your approach. Thanks for what you do. I thank you for those kind words and appreciate you for watching." Livewire, how's it going? Good evening to you. Are the websites like Moxville set up to recognize one card name in both paper and digital for Spider-Man set? I have no idea. I haven't looked yet. I haven't had to put anything in from Spider-Man. I won't do that until probably Sunday night or Monday morning when I get deck list done that I load up so I have ready to go on that Wednesday for the streamer event. So I haven't tested it yet. Casey says, "Do you own a store? I hear you mention every now and then." I had a store for 16 years. I no longer do. I sold it. I moved to the state of Washington to work for Wizards of the Coast back in 2016. And then I went to work for Card Kingdom, and now I work for myself again. But no, currently I do not have a store. Though, interestingly, I did help start one of the largest retailer message groups. So I'm still technically and part of one of those. So I still keep in touch with retailers regularly, but I do not have a retail store. But that is good for my content because it lets me keep an ear to the ground for things when I'm doing the podcast, and also for keeping information fresh for conversations in the Commander format panel. I'm always kind of in the know of what's going on with retailers, and that's very nice for me. Have you made any content about game store ownership, pros, cons, challenges? Not really. I don't know. Let's settle in for story time for a second, folks. At the beginning of my content stuff, I had just dabbled around with doing some streams, and I was going to make a couple of YouTube videos, and we had just started the podcast. Magic, or not Magic, but Color and Magic. We had just started. This is like mid 2019. And as we started rolling from the end of 2019 into 2020, I was just making a plan that was going to work for myself. I'm going to do content, make a go of it. And I had started plotting a whole thing to do originally only business side stuff for my content. I had literally started mapping out paths, because I started calling people I know that run conventions, that run retail stores, that work for distributors, because I know the average person knows nothing about that side of the business. Like, it actually frustrates me when I see people talking about how things are with Wizards or with distributors, and they really don't know. And unfortunately, and I'm not going to throw anybody on the bus or name names, but the one or two people I do see post about that, the information they're posting is not 100% accurate, and some of it I'm likely to believe is to manipulate their audience for certain perspectives or whatever. So to that end, I was actually going to say, I'm just going to pick a city, but say I would fly to Dallas. I would interview somebody that works for a distributor there, and then I would go interview somebody that works for a retail store there, and maybe drive to Austin and talk to some people that run one of the board game companies there. And then I would fly back. My idea would be to make 3 videos, and those would go up like once a week for the next 3-4 weeks. And then at the end of the month, I would fly out, do again, refresh, and kind of just keep it going, right? And I literally started mapping this out. I actually still have business cards and stuff from that time I never actually got to use, because March of that year is when they started shutting stuff down, and I never even got to use any of it. So my plan pivoted to become more of what it is now. And truthfully, I don't think that was necessarily a bad thing, because I do believe that the market for people who want to know about the business side of game ownership, store ownership and stuff, or the game industry, really are almost more people that are business savvy or interested in business more than they are actual gamers, after doing more research and talking about it. So while I probably could have made a go of it and done pretty well, because I've been one of the few people making that type of content, I don't think it would have been the audience that I would generally be speaking to. It'd be more people that are business savvy, entrepreneurs, blah, blah, whatever, that would probably have more an inkling for that than it would be just an average like Magic player, Pokemon player, or whatever that wanted to know. So yeah, that's kind of how we ended up where we are. Sorry for the long story, but it's kind of how we ended up here. And then just over time, I did some commentary for a couple of things, for some charity stuff, whatever. Eventually talked to the right people. They started asking me to do commentary for like the arena championships. So I do that. Now I get to go do stuff for Magic cons, things like that. So it's just like, it sort of just steamrolls a little bit. You know, you stay active, keep your name in front of people, and it's not a bad thing. I think where we ended up is good. I've made a lot of connections, met a lot of fun people, you know, because I went down this path. Had I done it the other way, I still could have been equally as happy. I just think my interactions and the audiences would have been different. I don't think, except for literally for work to get all the interviews and stuff, I don't think I would have been traveling as much, and not as much fun traveling, right? It would have been got to get there, got to get to the interview, got to get to this person's store, got to get to this warehouse, you know, and then when I'm done, I'd probably have half a day downtime, just fly back home and then prepare to do it again in 4 to 6 weeks. And that just would have been my life for a while, which is fine. I don't think it's bad, you know, but it would just been different. Good question though. Yeah. All right. If there's no more questions, hey, Christmas, how's it going? You're here toward the end, my friend. I was just checking if there's any last round of questions before we pack things up here and I go work on some YouTube videos for everybody. Also, a new episode of Color Magic will probably be up in the next hour or so. Audio only this week because my business partner had a issue with his cameras or something in his computer. He's been having a lot of tech issues because, unfortunately, the power grid in Texas is bad, and in the Dallas area, there's been a lot of off and on power flickers in different suburbs. So his computer got borked, and he had to replace his refrigerator too, which sucked. Have you tried Terry Black's barbecue in Dallas? Yes, good. I think it's. This is weird to say. This is kind of how we rate Magic cards when we talk about each season of like overrated, underrated. I think Terry Black's is very good, like really good. I also think it's overrated. Same way with Franklin's in Austin. I like the fact that people will get up to go wait in line for, I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours at the crack of dawn, and you can't get in till like 11 or something for lunch. And it's like, there's no barbecue that good. They're just not. Especially now. Okay, let me take a step back. If you live in, I don't know, New York, Vermont, maybe you live in Idaho somewhere, then it'd probably be worth waiting in line because that would be the best barbecue for hours, right? But if you're in Dallas, you can also go across town to like Hard 8 or whatever, right? There's like 10 really good barbecue places. Like I don't have to wait in line. Hell, the secret sauce in Texas, like people don't know this. There's a little town called Lockhart, right? You have to go south on I-35. You're about halfway between Austin and San Antonio, and you'll go east off that. There's an exit that takes you into Lockhart. Lockhart has 3 really nice barbecue spots. They're super old. They've been there since like the beginning of time. Like the time where you walk in and they got wood walls and they have all black and white photos of the local football teams and stuff on the wall. Like that type of old. And they're all equally good, right? So, and I think those are almost as good as the other places. So it kind of just depends on where you live. But in Texas, there's barbecue literally everywhere. So I don't think I would just wait in line for that long for barbecue anywhere. That's why I say they're overrated. I like when you get the food, it's gonna be worth it. Like they're damn good. Don't get me wrong. But if somebody else hadn't gone and waited in line for me to get it, I would have never tried it. I just don't wait in line. Like again, if it's the only time, like if I was in Texas and I knew there was like the sushi place in town, or you're the ramen spot or a pho spot or whatever, then cool. I might have to wait a while if I want to get like the good version of that, right? But conversely, up in the Pacific Northwest, those are literally like, not exaggerating, like every 3 blocks. So I'm never going to be waiting in line at a spot for one of those because I can just get, if I can't get the same quality, I'm getting like literally a half step down, just 3 blocks down the way. So I'm not going to wait in line. Same thing with barbecue, right? It might not be Terry Black's good, but it's going to be like Terry Black's minus 0.2 on the rating good. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to go somewhere else. Like, it's just not worth the wait. Wood wall, like 1980s wood paneling. No, not wood paneling. More like, it looks more like log cabin almost style on the inside. Electric surges are no joke. Yeah, it sucks. It's been affecting a lot of people down there. But yeah, like I said, I see the same thing. Oh, hey, thanks for that. I see the same thing when people are in Austin. Like, they go wait in line at Franklin's, and it's crazy, right? Up here, barbecue isn't as prevalent, but there's 5 or 6 good spots, and they can get a little bit busy. But for whatever reason, they just don't stay as crazy busy. Probably because just barbecue culture isn't as big of a thing up here. Like, people still like it. It's just not like the thing everybody has to go do here. There's just a bunch of different ones. So you don't really have to, like, you don't have to wait in line because, like, the lines just aren't long when you go. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I've tried a lot of barbecue across Texas, though. I've found spots all over the place. I'd have to, like, look at a map to remind myself of what I've been to in different places. But yeah, I've had it in a lot of spots. And that's why I say, like, that's why I say they're good, very good, but still overrated. You know, that is possible to both be overrated and be good. Because you talk to some people, they're like, oh, if you're in Austin, you got to go to Franklin's. And I'm like, I don't have time to go wait for 4 hours at Franklin's. Like, we can go to another spot, though. Right? If you want to go, have at it. Like, and I get it. There's the social thing to hanging out with people in line and talking to folks. That's all fine and good. But I'm not there to that. I just want to go eat and then get on about my business. Because, honestly, Dallas and Austin, both San Antonio, whatever, there's a bunch of spots in town you can go eat. Up here, conversely, like in Texas, if I were to drive an hour radius from where I lived, I could have found several spots. Up here, there's like 3 probably that I would say are really good. And one of them has good meat, but terrible sides. But like the meat's really good because the guy actually trained at Franklin's, is my understanding, down in Austin. And he opened up a couple spots up here. So kind of weird how that works. Hey, Gustavo, how's it going? But all right, y'all, I think on that note, we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to go work on some YouTube videos for y'all. And yeah, we have 4 things left on the wheel. We may try to get at least 2 of those knocked out over the weekend. I'll see how things go. No promises yet. And then next Wednesday, you will see all the streamers online. We're going to be doing the streamer event. I'm going to do like I normally do, where I try to kick one off at around 10 a.m., go till about 1 p.m., take a break, go record my podcast, grab something to eat, do all that, and then we do an evening session, usually like 6:30 or 7 until everybody quits playing, which is usually like midnight or 1 o'clock, where we have trouble getting matchups. So that's probably what we're going to do next week. Otherwise, you know, videos every day, all that good stuff. For any of you that missed this stream, we will end up getting a clip down version of this, so you can see the landfall insect deck that will be up. Don't know if it's going to go up tomorrow. Very likely tomorrow. If not, it will be up at least by Saturday. So, interesting experiment, though. I like this. We'll do some more of it. I do want to be doing probably at least 1, if not 2 streams a week, is the cycle I'm trying to get it to. Also, again, if you're going to be at MagicCon Atlanta, I will be down there in 2 weeks. So you can come by, find me, say hello. If you're going to be at the MagicCon in Vegas, I will be down there. That is the 3rd weekend of October. And then the following weekend in Tacoma, Washington. So either of those, if you're going to be at those, come find me, say hi. Maybe we'll grab a drink. Maybe we'll play some Magic. Whatever you're feeling at the time. But as always, I love you guys. Really appreciate you all. Don't forget to become a member on YouTube if you want to participate in next season's wheel. As we put stuff up, it'll be at the end of 2 weeks from now, so you can actually get your stuff up there to maybe have your weird idea turned into a video. But wherever you're watching, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Please remember to take care of yourselves, your family, especially right now. Remember to be awesome, and most importantly, be awesome to each other.